What if Naruto was the strongest in the world? Enjoy watching.
What did you say? Hiruzen Sarutobi, the Sandome Hokage, was shocked beyond words. After hearing young Naruto always screaming to the heavens, Hokage just reject his offer to join the academy, he was understandably confused. Why not? What happened to your dream of becoming Hokage? 6-year-old Naruto gave a small yawn and gave the Hokage a bored look. Being Hokage was my old dream. I have something else I wanna be now, Naruto-ji. Large grin. I wanna be the very strongest. Sarutobi looked at the young child with a confused look. How do you expect to be strong if you don't join the academy and become a ninja? Of course Saruto necessarily have to become a ninja to become strong, but it's not as if Naruto knew about samurai and other warriors. The young boy tilted his head a bit, his red locks falling to the side, and gave a mischievous grin. That's a secret, old man. Hokage-sama. Sarutobi, interrupted from his thoughts, looked towards the one addressing him. My apologies. What is it, Kakashi? Kakashi Hatake for once didn't have his nose in his book and looked at the Hokage with a little concern. Team 7 passed their test. Is everything alright, Hokage? Sarutobi sighed. Yes, everything is fine. Just thinking about young Naruto. Kakashi gained a sober look in his visible eye. It's been 6 years since he went missing. The two veteran shinobi stood in silence for a while, each thinking about the young Uzumaki. After telling the Sandome of his so-called new dream to be the seemingly disappeared without a trace. Not even Kakashi with his summons could find him. Normally if a civilian were to leave the village it wouldn't be and is bound to the village like shinobi were. However, the case is a little different when that civilian carried the strongest of the Baijuya within him. Kakashi, go and rest. Be here tomorrow with your team to begin your missions. With a nod, the Jonin left with a shunsen. The Sandome looked out towards where the redhead Jinchuriki was at this moment. Land of waves. Naruto opened his eyes and immediately covered them after looking directly into the sunlight coming through the window. He sat up in bed and gave a big yaw. And went into the bathroom to freshen up. After showering he comes out in just black boxers. At the age of 12 Naruto stood at 5'1". It was obvious to anyone worked out his body regularly, no supermodel 8-pack Naruto. He's just fit. He had bright blue eyes and spiky red hair with 2 bangs framing the sides of his marks on his cheeks. He put on a red tank top with a black track jacket, black pants, and black sandals with a red sash that held 3 swords on the left side of his waist. He leaned out window and inhaled the smell of seawater and smiled contently. It was great to enjoy the smell of the sea, the sound of the waves, and the feeling of nature. A head of light purple hair suddenly appeared in the corner of his eye. Naruto lazily turned to head to the right and came face to face with an upside D. Staring at him unblinking with a lollipop in her mouth. Naruto blinked once. Twice. 3 times. Yo, Naruto lazily brung up a hand in greeting. Hey, the purple-haired girl did the same. Naruto faced forward again and took another breath of fresh air. The girl continued to stare at him. You just gonna keep staring at me all day long? Naruto asked the girl with a small glance in her direction. Actually, Tsunami wanted me to tell you breakfast is ready. The girl replied. And you waited this long to tell me because... The girl blinked once then changed the position of her lollipop before replying. Your whiskers distracted me, she said with the only emotion was the small pie cheeks. Naruto sweat dropped. Right. Hehe, how about we go down and get some food, Misery? He said. Misery nodded and dropped off of the roof she was standing on and jumped onto the windowsill. Naruto backed up to allow her into the room and they both Misery Shirayuki was someone Naruto met when he was 9 years old while in Kirigakure. Her parents were victims of the bloodline purges and she decided his master as she no longer had anywhere left to go. She was quite reserved with little emotion and had weird quirks such as staring at Naruto's whiskers at tea. Found them cute. She said they reminded her of her pet cat. The fox in his gut took offense to that. She had short light purple hair and blue eyes. She wore a with dark blue sleeves with a black singlet underneath and a light brown pleated checkered skirt. She had light and dark striped stockings with white shoes her left leg. When asked about the belt, she looked blankly at Naruto and replied it looked cool. She also had a gold pendant around her neck which she said her mother before she died. Naruto found Tsunami and her son Inari setting the table for breakfast. Good morning Naruto-kun, Misari-chan. Mornin' Tsunami-san. Naruto ruffled Inari's hair a bit in greeting and the little kid laughed a bit. Inari really came a long way. When they first met him he was little brat. Now he smiled and laughed like normal kids his age. Tsunami thanked Naruto for that, but he just waved it off. When Naruto and Misari came to a miserable place with adults and children alike begging for food. Gato took control of the land of waves and almost everyone lost hope of being free again. The bridge Tsunami's father was building, but he was in danger because of Gato and supposedly went off to hire some ninja to protect him. When Naruto and however and saw the state of the country, Naruto took care of Gato himself. Gato had hired Zabuza, one of the 7 swordsmen of the mist, and his partner victim of the bloodline purges in Kiri. After killing Gato and his henchmen, Naruto offered Zabuza all of Gato's money and the two parted ways. Since then Nar, regarded as a hero, stayed in wave a bit to make sure none of Gato's thugs or any ninja he hired didn't come back. Browse just in community forum beta's story. Naruto plus One Piece crossover, /Naruto_N_One Piece _crossover /1402/1434/ Plus. Naruto suddenly stopped eating and narrowed his eyes. There's a group of 5 people on their way here. Looks like 4 ninja and a civilian. Misari tensed a bit. How far? About a mile or so. Tsunami-san, didn't you say your father went out to hire ninja to protect him? Tsunami nodded a bit nervously. Yes. He did, but he left before you arrived so he didn't know he didn't need to. From what I can tell it seems like a genin team with their sensei. Although one of those genin feel a bit more than a genin. It's most likely your father hired, but we'll stay alert just in case. Tsunami sighed in relief. I really can't thank you enough Naruto-san, Misari-chan. Naruto grinned. Nonsense. Your delicious food and lovely home is thanks enough. Right Misari? Misari nodded with a small smile that Tsunami returned. With the Konoha team. After several boring D-ranked missions, Team 7 found themselves on their first C-ranked escort mission. To escort the bridge builder Tajuna back to the land O was made up and Sasuke Uchiha, the only survivor of the Uchiha massacre, Sakura Harano, Sai, and their sensei Kakashi Hatake. Usually on C-ranked escort. Be a group of bandits or something, but so far it's been fairly quiet. Not that Kakashi was complaining. It gave him more time to read his favorite book. However, Tajuna was a bit tense throughout the trip. Sasuke seemed to be a bit upset he didn't get a chance to test his skills against real opponents. Sakura was the OP. Relieved they weren't attacked on their mission so far. Besides her smarts, she wasn't really a strong genin. I'll have to change that. She can't rely on her rescue in the heat of battle like a fairy tale. Kakashi thought to himself, already planning a training regime for her. Meanwhile Sai was just quiet with a wee. Ah, there's my home, Tajuna exclaimed, relief clear in his voice. Kakashi glanced up towards a figure on the roof. He narrowed his eyes at what appeared the roof. She gave them a lazy wave before disappearing into the house via window. Not knowing if she was friend or foe, Kakashi rushed to the house and door to find the girl he saw on the roof calmly drinking tea with a redhead with 3 swords by his side. A woman with black hair and a little kid came from was the kitchen since they both carried a dish in their hands. The woman and child he concluded to be Tajina's family after seeing a family portrait. The other. And he prepared himself to attack. Relax, Shinobi-san. As you can see, we're clearing, not harming Tsunami-san or little Inari. The redhead said calmly, then took a sip of tea. The girl mirrored H. Her tea seemed to look a bit chilled. Actually, we've been protecting them the past couple of days. The rest of Team 7 arrived at the house with Tajina behind. Clearly looking a bit frightened from the Jonin's actions. It's true, Ninja-san. The woman known as Tsunami said with a soft smile. Naruto-san and Mizuri-chan has been staying with us after saving the village from. Tajina looked confused. Wait, Gato is gone. Tsunami ran to her father and hugged him with a huge smile on her face. Inari also ran to hug his grandfather B. Yes, father. These two got rid of Gato and saved us. Meanwhile, Kakashi could only look at the redhead who Tsunami called Naruto. There's no way. It couldn't really be him. But he has the whisker marks. Kaka. Scrambled. Naruto looked at the Jonin with a raised brow. Any reason you're staring at me, Shinobi-san? He questioned. He glanced at the Konoha symbol on the ninjas. He must recognize me. Wonder who he is. Kakashi calmed himself before asking his question. Are you Naruto Uzumaki? Sasuke and Sakura looked confused as to how their sensei recognized the red. Narrowed his eyes slightly. Yeah, that's me. Do I know you or something? Kakashi couldn't believe it. After 6 years he found his sensei's son in the same place his team's mission took him. He wasn't one to believe in fate, but if this might have to re-evaluate his beliefs. Tsunami usured everyone inside and served the Konoha ninja had explained the truth about what was happening to the sea ninja and apologized for lying about the details. Kakashi warned him about doing such things but ending it accepting the apology since technically they didn't are. And it still was a C rank at the moment. Evarayon turned their attention to Naruto as he stood from his seat and stretched. Welp, since your father returned with Shinobi, it seems our time here is announced. Mizuri finished her tea and stood as well, ready to leave with her friend. I'm sure you guys can take it from here. Actually, Naruto, I wondered if you might stay a bit longer. Kakashi wasn't about to let him get away so easily. It is our mission to protect Tajina and his fam. Been here longer, I wondered if you might give us a satrap. Naruto gave him a curious look. Gato's dead. His henchmen are either dead or ran away and the missing Ninzabuza and his assistant took Gato's money and only thing you might have to worry about are any henchmen looking for revenge, but I'm sure a Konoha Jonin can handle that without any problems. If that's a redhead turned to Tsunami and bowed his head a bit. Tsunami-san, we thank you for your hospitality. Inari, remember what I told you. Mizuri gave a small walked out the door, Tsunami and Inari waving goodbye. Excuse me. Kakashi got up and disappeared after the two. Sasuke and Sakura gave confused looks towards the door. Nobody noticed Sai discreetly make me. Followed after Kakashi. Naruto, wait. When Kakashi caught up to them, the redhead hardly seemed surprised. Instead he gave an annoyed sigh. Anything else you need from us? Or do you just enjoy follow kids around? Naruto asked annoyed. Mizuri giggled a bit. Wouldn't that make him a pervert, Naruto? If that book's any indication, he's already a pervert, Naruto said with a grin. Kakashi's sweat dropped. These kids really had respect. He quickly got serious though. Naruto, I'm not sure if you remember, but you were born in Konoha. You. Age of 6 and we have reason to believe you were kidnapped. Naruto blinked. Then he and Mizuri looked at each other, before they both started laughing. I wasn't kidnapped, Jonin-san, Naruto said after finally calming down. By the way, can I get your name? Kind of annoying calling you by a title. It's Kakashi Hatake. Well, Kakashi-san, I wasn't kidnapped. I left of my own free will. What? But why? Kakashi asked a little surprised. There's no way a 6-year-old could just leave Konoha without anyone noticing. Why not? The villagers obviously hated me, so leaving made us both happy. Naruto said with a frown. Besides, it's not like I was a Konoha ninja. I could have wanted. Kakashi sighed sadly. That may be true in most cases, but yours is a different matter, Naruto. Naruto smirked. Cause I'm the Kyuubi Jinchuriki, or because I'm the son of the Yandere? Or is it a mix of both? Kakashi stared at him in shocked silence. He actually knew of not only the Kyuubi but his parents as well? This wasn't good. Can we go now, Naruto? Mizuri butted in before Kakashi could say anything. I'm bored now. Yeah, let's go. Kakashi-san, I bid you farewell. Naruto turned on his heel with Mizuri right beside him. The Jonin sighed. It seems he had no choice. He jumped in front of the two and took a stance. I'm sorry, Naruto, but I'm to bring you back with force if necessary. The redhead narrowed his eyes at the Konoha ninja. Mizuri giggled at the Cyclops' words. Unfortunately, no amount of force you possess can handle him. Amused smile. Obviously you underestimate what a Konoha Jonin can do, Kakashi stated, confident he can disable 2 kids. No, Kakashi. Naruto slowly unsheathed one of his swords. It had a black blade with a red hamon in the appearance of sharp teeth. You obviously underestimate. After Kakashi went off after Naruto and Mizuri, Team 7 stayed at Tajuna's house to keep guard. Sakura was helping Tsunami with some housework, Seisu training outside, and Sai sat on the roof drawing a picture. A small ink mouse suddenly ran up to Sai, who then pulled out a blank scroll. The mouse jumped on. Splattered into words. Sai's eyes widened slightly before there was a loud crashing sound. Sasuke quickly prepared himself for anything and Sai stood from his warning. The lake beside the house suddenly exploded, as if something crashed into it. Looking off into the forest, the genin saw several trees collapse, adding, "What the hell is going on?" Sasuke said aloud while covering his face from the water raining down on him. Sai jumped down next to him. It seems Kakashi-sensei is currently in battle with those 2 that recently left. The boy answered. It would be wise if we win. Kakashi-sensei wasn't the one who delivered that attack. Sasuke looked at Sai in disbelief. There was no way someone who looked to be the same age as them could cause such destruction in one attack. "Tch, fine. Yelled towards the house. With that, the 2 boys jumped off towards the forest. With Kakashi. Kakashi panted heavily. He had his Sharingan uncovered and had several cuts on him, with a deeper cut on his left leg after barely dodging Naruto's last attack. The Jonin thought in shock. Some sort of wind technique? But my Sharingan didn't see any chakra being used. Naruto stood across from him, still looking as blank expression on his face. Kakashi gritted his teeth. And I can't even touch him. It's as if he already knows what I'm going to do next. But how? Mizuri was sitting on a tree branch silently watching the one-sided fight. Once she saw Naruto only unsheath Shusui, she knew the Jonin didn't stand a shank. Of all the times she's seen Naruto fight, there was only one person who the redhead took absolutely serious, and that was his master. Naruto glanced back towards Tajuna's house before sighing. "Let's go, Mizuri," he said while sheathing Shusui. "Kakashi-san, I know you're gonna tell the old. And what happened here? Word of advice, make sure you tell him to leave me alone. Any shinobi he sends after me to forcefully bring me back will die. Good D. Never meet again." With that, he jumped up to where Mizuri was and they both went on their way. Sasuke and Sai arrived to see their sensei sitting against a tree tying medical gauze around his leg. Sasuke was a bit shocked to see Kakashi's Sharingan, but important to help their teacher at the moment. Kakashi stared off in the direction Naruto and Mizuri went. For Naruto to defeat him so easily really amazed him. Kakashi was by no means arrogant, but he the village's strongest shinobi. For a 12-year-old child to defeat him so soundly, and what looked like little effort, really made him think that Naruto would live. Anyone sent after him. And that thought somewhat frightened him. Kakashi put his head down and mentally apologized to his dead sensei for failing to look AF. Grew up with Naruto. Think you overdid it a bit with that last attack, Naruto? Mizuri asked with a little concern. I mean, you could have just wounded him enough so he wouldn't follow. Killed him if he didn't dodge. The redhead shrugged. Good thing he dodged then, hey. Naruto stopped on a branch. Surprised by his sudden halt, Mizuri stopped on the branch ahead. Mizuri, are you sure you want to do this? Mizuri looked down sadly before turning away from him. I'm sure. I'm much stronger than I used to be. I'll be fine. She felt Naruto's arms wrap around her. Just say the word and I'll let them know we're not going. Mizuri smiled. She always felt safe in his arms. They were family in everything but blood. Naruto found her at the age of 7 and was about to be killed after parents die. It took her months to start to recover from the trauma, but Naruto took his role as her big brother seriously and was with her every part of the WA. To him. I'll be fine, Ani-chan. I promise. She said softly and a little embarrassed. He could always make her feel like a little kid at moments like these. She was 10 y. She wasn't a child anymore. Naruto pulled back to look at her and chuckled at her cute pout. I'll hold you to that, Imuto. He said and ruffled her hair a bit. Mizuri glared and Naruto felt colder. His smile grew and he removed his hand. Your temper's worse than Shisui's, he laughed. Mizuri sighed. Can we go already? Idiot. Mizuri jumped off and Naruto followed with a huge smile on his face. Neither noticed the small bird made of ink straw. In a port town, 1 week later. A bartender was shaking in fear as he tried to pour a drink. The man's presence alone was intimidating enough, but he kept staring at him as if he was going to. Very moment he spilled a drop of sake. The young girl beside him did nothing to ease the bartender's nerves as she just sipped her drink, oblivious to his plight. Like she was enjoying seeing him so scared. Was she some sort of sadist? The bartender almost had a heart attack when the man suddenly snatched the bottle out of his hand. I'll pour the damn drink myself if you're gonna keep shat. He said, clearly annoyed. The girl giggled a bit. Well, it's hardly fair when you use so much killer intent against him, Zabuza-sama. Not my fault he can't handle a little pressure while pouring a drink, Haku. Zabuza said and then took a large gulp of his sake. He slammed the bottle on the tea. Sake dripping down his chin. Where is that kid anyway? Haku shuddered unintentionally at the memory of the redhead that stormed Gato's hideout with just the help of an even younger girl. Although it was obvious. Help with the way he took out all of Gato's thugs. She's never seen such power before. It scared and amazed her at the same time. When Zabuza stepped forward. Advances, the redhead seemed ecstatic to battle another swordsman, and what followed was something Haku thought she'd never live to see. Zabuza totally fight. When she made to step in to help, the young girl stood in her way. She told Haku that interrupting a sword fight between two swordsmen would get hers worry, as he wouldn't kill Zabuza. Even Zabuza himself told Haku not to interfere. After losing, Zabuza was prepared to be killed, much to Haku's horror, but them both by offering them his friendship and asked them to meet him at this port town on this date. And here they were. The only question was, where were the people they came to meet? Would you please stop scaring the locals, Zabuza-san? Both shinobi turned quickly and was shocked to see the young purple-haired girl sitting right next to Th. What? When did she get here? Zabuza prided himself on his ability in the silent killing technique, so for someone to be able to appear right next to him with shocked him. Where's the other brat? He's in town. He had some business to take care of though, so he'll be meeting us on the ship. Maizuri answered. Ship? What ship? Haku asked. Zabuza was curious as well. Why were they getting on a ship? The ship to Kirigakura, of course. The leader of the rebellion could use the help of one of the 7 swordsmen and his apprentice. Maizuri said as if the mat decided. Wait a minute, girlie. Maizuri glared at being called girlie, but Zabuza ignored it. What makes you think Haku and I would just willingly go back to Kiri? Inka noticed, I'm a missing nin and Haku was already hunted for her bloodline. I've seen the Mizukage in action and that little rebellion doesn't stand a chance. That's why Naruto and I are going as well. Maizuri said simply. What's your point? I'll admit I'm impressed he managed to best me in a sword fight, but it's not as if I'm the strongest ninja from Kiri. He may be strong, but difference between Gato's thugs and the shinobi in Yagura's army. Maizuri rolled her eyes. Fine. Would you change your mind if I told you Naruto was also meeting his master in the land of water as well? Zabuza looked at her curiously. Why would I care if he was meeting his master? Maizuri smirked. Ah, she loved moments like these. In Konoha, Sarutobi burned the letter he finished reading with a small fire jutsu even though he knew it wouldn't do any good. Danzo most likely already knew about Naru. Now that Naruto was on his own, there was nothing stopping the Warhawk from getting him. Although if what Kakashi said was true, maybe Danzo won't have. It was hard to believe that the young redhead could defeat Kakashi without a single injury. That meant that after Naruto left, he didn't just wander. Someone question was who and for what purpose. I wanna be the very strongest. An image of a 6-year-old Naruto grinning while proclaiming his new dream entered the Sandom's mind. He sighed and lit his pipe. He really did care about a Hokage. The needs of the village outweighed the needs of the few, and as much as Sarutobi hated to do so, the village needed its Jinchuriki. With a signal, a hawk-masked Anbu appeared in his office. Hawk, I'm assigning your team a retrieval mission. Kakashi's summon has been tracking the target. And bring the target in alive. Forces authorized. Hi Hokage-sama, and with that the Anbu disappeared. The Sandome sighed again. I'm sorry, Naruto. Root hideout. Danzo sat in his office reading the leading he received from his agent Sai. It seems the Kyubi Jinchuriki is back on the map. Would you like us to go and capture it, Danzo-sama? The Root Anbu who delivered the letter asked. Danzo kept his silence for a few minutes, thinking of the best course of action. No. Sarutobi might be foolish enough to send a team after it, but that will do. Animosity. The Jinchuriki is powerful, so we can't act recklessly. Let it continue to do what it wants for now. The Root Anbu nodded before disappearing. I won. Next. Danzo thought aloud. On the ship towards Kiri. Zabuza's eye was twitching violently while Naruto enjoyed the sea breeze and Maizuri and Haku talked. And the brat said we were getting on a ship. Zabuza. The 4 were sailing on small boat that barely accommodated all of them. They were barely going anywhere because of the very light breeze. Oi brat! How the hell do you expect us to get to Kiri in this sad excuse for a ship? Zabuza yelled. Naruto just opened an eye and looked at him lazily. What's the problem? The problem is we're barely moving. It'll take weeks at this pace. Naruto sighed. Fine. Geez, no patience. Maizuri, if you would please, he said, closing his eye back. Gentle please. We don't want a repeat of last time. Yeah, whatever. Maizuri got up with a huff of annoyance. She clapped her hands together and began to mold chakra. As she began to move her hands apart, noise could be heard coming from the large ball of wind in her hands. Maizuri. Gently, I said, Naruto warned her. Gosh, I know already. She complained. The large ball of wind began to condense and the loud howling noise started to die down. When the ball of wind was a kickball, Misery threw it at the sail. Contrary to what Zabuza and Haku thought was going to happen, instead of tearing the sail to shreds, it stopped in front. Spin at fast speeds. The boat suddenly got a huge increase in speed that had Zabuza and Haku immediately channel chakra to their hands and feet to stay put. The boat was now. Everything started to look like a blur. While Zabuza and Haku were struggling to stay onto the speeding boat, Naruto had a small tick mark while giving Misery a mock glare. I said gently. It's better than last time. She replied, sitting back down and resting her head in her palms. Besides, it's really the waves crashing into us that's making it a B. Should do something about that. Naruto decided not to fall into that trap and instead lazily closed his eyes and enjoyed the wind rushing through his hair. It really wasn't as relaxing as before. If anyone else saw him, he might have been mistaken for a Nara with how lazy he was being. Misery, wake me when we're almost there, he said with a yawn. Lazy idiot, Misery mumbled to herself. She looked over and finally noticed how much trouble Zabuza and Haku were having. Oh sorry. Misery threw her han. Using wind chakra to make the rushing winds going around them, allowing the two shinobi to relax. The two breathed a great sigh of relief. You couldn't warn us before you suddenly make us go flying like that. Zabuza yelled, agitated. Misery looked at him blankly for a few seconds before turning to Haku. Are you okay, Haku-chan? Zabuza felt like he was in snow country from the freezing. Received. Haku giggled a bit. I'm fine, Misery-chan. Thank you. That really is incredible though, Haku said, staring up at the ball of wind pushing the sail. You really have control over wind chakra to do something like that. A small smile showed itself on Misery's face. If there's one thing Naruto praises me on, it's my control. He said if I had great control over my elements, it wow. Genkai much easier to use. Zabuza looked at her curiously. You have a Kekii Genkai. Misery looked at him before turning away. Zabuza felt like a block of ice. Haku's sweat dropped. You have a Kekii Genkai, Misery-chan. The violet-haired girl nodded, a bit of sadness entering her eyes. Yet. I would have been killed because of it too if it wasn't for Naruto. Stupid Kiri Nins. Haku and Zabuza immediately made the connection and Haku held the younger girl's hand in comfort. I understand. I went through the same thing. It was Z. Saved me from my hell. Haku told Misery her story while Zabuza silently listened. The Yuki clan. Misery looked at Haku in shock. I didn't think there were any left. Haku smiled sadly. I'm the last one, unfortunately. Misery was suddenly in Haku's face, much to her shock. No, you don't understand. If you're a member of the Yuki clan, we're pretty much family. Misery's emotion. What do you mean? Misery backed up and cupped her hands together. After a couple of seconds she held her closed hands up to her face, and when she opened them and blew out. Zabuza and Haku gave unbelieving looks as they processed what this meant. You actually have the ice release bloodline? Haku asked softly, as if saying it to her to wake up from a dream. Misery smiled brightly. A smile only seen by Naruto himself. Yep. The Yuki clan was actually a branch of the Shirai Yuki clan that split up after the bloodline Pu. Others were wiped out, and after my family was killed I thought I was the last member of my clan left. Small tears fell from the young girl's eyes, but her smile. Haku embraced the girl, her own tears of happiness showing themselves. A part of her clan, even a distant part, was still alive. She was no longer the last of H. Zabuza smiled softly at the scene and turned towards the front and was slightly surprised to Naruto with one eye open looking at the two girls with a small SM. Closing his eye again. Naruto, after silently witnessing the whole scene, couldn't be happier for the girl he thought of as his own little sister. Hopefully now that you've found a peace. Show that smile more often, Imuto. the redhead thought before actually going to sleep. 10-year-old Naruto laid on the ground surrounded by bodies panting heavily with wounds and blood all over him. Wado Ikemonji was held tightly in his left hand, its pale white sheath the only thing not stained with blood. He was so tired he couldn't even sense who the footsteps that were approaching him stood over his battered body. He looked up to see his master's intimidating form standing over him, his face unreadable. With the last of his strength, Naruto raised his left hand up to his master to return the Wado Ikemonji to its previous owner. The moss-head man accepted from his apprentice, his one open eye not moving from the Jinchuriki's own eyes. Naruto's arm dropped back to the ground like a rock. "You did a very foolish thing, Naruto," he said after a couple of minutes of silence. Too weak to respond, Naruto just listened. "You could have very easily been killed for your age, but compared to the rest of the world, you're still weak." The man looked at the surrounding area while Naruto laid there. "So what would you have me do then?" the redhead asked. His master turned his gaze back to him. "There was no way I was going to leave misery there to be." Voice started to rise, angry, giving him enough energy to voice his feelings. "I was an idiot to steal your sword and come here, I'll admit. I'm nowhere near as S either. But how can I be the strongest if I'm not even strong enough to save my friends?" Naruto weakly lifted a fist up to the sky. "I'll become strong enough. And everyone else I consider my friends and family," he exclaimed loudly. "I promise that on my life." The master looked on as his apprentice made the promise of a lifetime. Then he started laughing. After he finished, he picked up Naruto and threw him over his guts. "Kid! Prove your strength to me, Naruto. Prove you have what it takes to surpass me. If you can do that, you'll no longer have to steal a sword from me." Those were the last words he heard before Naruto finally succumbed to his injuries. Zabuza and Haku were trekking through the misty forest on one of the Land of Waters islands. Naruto and Misery separated from them after the redhead told direction the base was in. Zabuza still wondered how he knew where the rebellion was stationed at. Even if he was a censor, they had to have had some way from censors. "I guess it doesn't matter how he knows," the swordsman thought to himself. He looked towards Haku. She put up a brave front, but he could tell how uncalm. "Be here, Haku." Haku almost seemed surprised that he was there. "Yes, Zabuza-sama." Zabuza placed his hand on her shoulder. "Don't worry. I won't let anything happen to you." He felt Haku tense a bit before seeing her visibly relax. She took a nodding with a smile. Zabuza patted her shoulder before they continued their walk. Unknown to either of them, the person watching them disappeared, off to about the rebel base, not a Star Wars reference lol. Mei Terumi, leader of the Kiri rebellion, listened to the report from one of her most trusted shinobi Ao. "You're sure it's not just one of Yagura's ninja?" she asked cautiously. Ao nodded. "I'm positive. I even used my eye to check," he said. Mei laced her fingers together in front of her face. If it truly was Zabuza walking towards their base, he could help them out big time with his skills. But how where they were stationed? Coming to a decision, she stood from her seat. "I'll go meet him myself. If he's working for Yagura, I'll take him out myself," she stated. "Ao, you're in charge until I get back," she said while walking towards. "What? Mei-sama, let me accompany you. You shouldn't go out alone. Do you think I'm incapable of handling myself, Ao?" she asked with a piercing look. Ao out his head down in apology. "I'll go see Zabuza and his partner by back in half an hour, send a team after me." "Understood, Mei-sama." Unknown Island. "We're here." Naruto opened his eyes and grinned. "It's been too long." He laid his left hand over his swords. It was almost as if they too were excited to be here. He could fe of power near the center of the island that could only be one person. He must have also sensed them because he started to move towards them. Fast, really fast. He wouldn't. Naruto thought. He widened his eyes when he felt it. He quickly grabbed Misery, ignoring her protests, and jumped off the boat just in time. Boat was suddenly cut in two, a large explosion of water following after. What a way to greet someone, Misery complained after they landed. Naruto just grinned. That's the kind of person he is though. He said while unsheathing Wado Ikimonji. And he's not even halfway over here yet. He really. Hold back. Misery exhaled, her breath strangely visible as if they were in a colder climate. Team up? She asked. Let me have a go first. Then you can jump in. Naruto placed the Wado Ikimonji's hilt in his mouth and held it with his teeth before drawing Shisui and sand. Cursed blade given to him by his master. Let's go. Rebel base. Mei and Ao looked at Zabuza with disbelief. What did you say? Mei asked, wondering if perhaps she heard wrong. Zabuza just snorted. Don't get me wrong. If you want everyone to be killed, then yeah, it's a great plan. But if you actually want to win this war, then that's a st. It's the only chance we have. If we don't take it. If you do take it, there's no way any of you will survive the week. Zabuza coldly cut her off. It's obviously a trap. You think Yagura would accidentally send M after your so-called bait? He's playing you. We have no other choice. Mei snapped. These people are tired of fighting Zabuza and we're low on resources. If we don't take this one chance, we may not. Until another one presents itself. Zabuza sighed. Mei, you may not trust me, but I didn't just come here just to make a losing battle last longer. Just listen to me. Forget this all or nothing mov. Couple of days. Mei narrowed her eyes. Like I said, Zabuza, we don't have a couple of days. We're moving in 3 days. I'd appreciate it if you stayed and helped out, but whoa. You if you decide to leave. With that she dismissed them. Zabuza gritted his teeth as he and Haku walked out the room. What now, Zabuza-sama? Can't we just tell them about Naruto-san and his master? Haku asked. No. The kid doesn't want us to mention that guy, and the kid himself can't turn the tide of a war by himself. Although he did say he would help out. Zabuza thought. No choice then. Haku, go find the kid. He took out the piece of paper the redhead gave him before they split up. What was it called? A Vivre card? Supposed to lead you to him. Haku took the paper in her hands and examined it. It looked like a regular piece of paper. What was so special about it? She was shocked, however, when the P slightly towards the east. She pocketed the card before donning her hunter mask. I will not fail you, Zabuza-sama. Zabuza nodded. Be quick, Haku. With that she took off at full speed. In Konoha. Team 7 reporting in. Mission complete, Kakashi said. Team 7 just got back from their mission in Wave. After their encounter with Naruto, the rest of the miss peacefully, with the exception of a couple of thugs that used to work for Gato causing a few disturbances. But that was handled easily by his genin. Good job. I do hope your first C-rank mission quelled your sense of adventure for the time being, the old Cage chuckled. He remembered the days when he wanted to go on heroic missions for the village. Hopefully the new genin will learn that shinobi life isn't about being a hero. Kakashi's trademarked eye smile showed his amusement. Yes, I do believe my cute little genin enjoyed their time outside the village. The cute genin just SCO. The exception of Sai, who just kept his smile in place. Very well then. Your pay will be sent directly to your account. You're dismissed. The 3 genin bowed to the Sandame before leaving. Kakashi stayed behind though. When the genin left, all amusement left him and he looked at the Sanda. Expression. Did you get my message? The Cyclops asked. Sarutobi got serious as well and nodded. Yes. I sent an Anbu team to rendezvous with your summon. When they reported back, however, it seems they lost his. Near the edge of fire country. He must have gotten on a boat and went out to sea. To sea? Kakashi asked, confused. For what? When I looked at a map to try to guess his destination, the only place I could think of was the land of water. Kakashi's eyebrow rose. Land of water? But they're in the middle of a civil war. Why would he go there? Sarutobi lit his pipe and inhaled the smoke. Who knows? But unfortunately he's out of our jurisdiction. What about Danzo? The Jonin asked cautiously. Surprisingly, he hasn't made any moves yet. I thought he would move the moment he learned about Naruto's reappearance, but he's been pretty quiet. I wish was planning. It's pretty easy to guess why he hasn't gone after Naruto yet. A voice said. Sarutobi and Kakashi both turned to the window to see the Toad Sunin Jiraiya. When he was noticed, he came in with a rare serious expression on his face. Sorry I took so long. Tying up loose ends. Sarutobi gave a warm smile. Ah, Jiraiya. I'm glad to see you. You look well. It was always good to see his student. Jiraiya was his only student to still work hard. Well-being. The will of fire truly burned bright in the Toad Sage. Sensei. Kakashi. Jiraiya greeted with a nod. Kakashi gave a small wave. Unfortunately, we'll have to skip the formalities for now. Sarutobi nodded. Indeed. Did you find anything? Not a thing. Jiraiya said with a frown. But considering it's been 6 years, he could have a reason we don't know about to go to the land of water. But you said it was easy to figure out why Danzo hasn't gone after him yet. Kakashi said. What's the reason? The old Warhawk must have already had a run-in with Naruto in the past. Kakashi and Sarutobi widened their eyes a bit. Otherwise he would have already go. Something must have happened that made Danzo keep his distance. I just wish I knew what. So what do you suggest, Jiraiya? The Sandame asked. As of now there's not much I can do without risking tension with the land of water. Allow me to infiltrate the land of water. I can pop in to see if he really is there. I'm one of the few you have that won't get caught and I can subdue him if th. The Sandame nodded in thought. Jiraiya was the strongest shinobi in Konoha, second only to Sarutobi himself. Although there are some that say Jiraiya has Su. Anyone could bring in Naruto, it would be Jiraiya. I'll allow it. If you find him, bring him back to Konoha. By force if necessary. Sarutobi said. Jiraiya frowned. I'd rather not use force. I said if things get ugly I could subdue him. I understand your feelings, Jiraiya. But right now we can't be seen as weak by the other villages. The Chunin exams are coming up soon. If it becomes public Jinchuriki is missing, others may go after him as well. This is for his protection as well. With all due respect, Hokage-sama, Kakashi butted in. It didn't seem like he needed any protection. He carried 3 swords on him but only used one again, wasn't really trying either. 3 swords? People usually only use 1 or 2 swords, with Kumo's Jinchuriki using a unique 7-sword style. But 3 swords? Why does that Jiraiya thought to himself. It's fine, Kakashi, the Toad Sage said. I'm sure I can handle the kid. I'll be on my way then. Jiraiya saluted them and disappeared through the window. Real sword style, where have I heard that before? Unknown island. Ow. Oi. No complaining, Naruto nii. Would it kill you to be a bit more gentle? Yes. It was said in complete indifference and with a blank stare. Fricking sadist, a freezing hand slapped his back where fresh bandages were wrapped. Ow! They're all done. Misori sat in a kneeling position behind Naruto. They were resting in a small field after the welcoming they received. Geez, doesn't that idiot know how to hold back? Naruto laid back, his head falling into Misori's lap. I swear I saw my life flash before my eyes at least 3 times. Misori placed her hand on his head. There. It's okay Naruto nii, she said mockingly with no sympathy. Maybe next time he'll actually take your head. Oh. Near-death experience, you'll have a real one. Naruto shivered in fear. Come on Misori. How many times do I have to apologize for using you as bait? He asked nervously. An upset Misori was never good. Try one more time, she said. I'm really sorry and I'll never do it again. Forgive me. No. Die, she replied coldly, looking away from him. I'll get you ice cream when we get back to the mainland. Misori was silent for a minute. Nothing less than 3 scoops. She said, accepting the offering. You got it Imuto, he said with a huge grin. That was a dirty move nii-san. Misori said with a cute pout. Haha, how else can I win against my cute Imuto? Naruto laughed. Misori bopped him on the head. Idiot. She muttered, annoyed, but the small smile tugging at her lips showed her true feelings. The two stayed like that for a closed, resting his head on Misori's lap while she stroked his hair. Hey, nii-san. Do you think we can visit my parents? She asked in a small voice. Naruto opened his eyes a bit to see her still looking away from him, but he could clearly see the sadness in her eyes. She must be thinking about the last time. Parents' grave? He thought. That was his first time coming so close to death. However, because of that, he was able to unlock that power and save Misori from. He smiled up at her. Of course we can. There's no way we would come here without dropping by. I bet they can't wait to see how strong you've become over. Think. Misori nodded timidly. And I can tell them about Hakune. Hey, what about your strong nii-san? Naruto said, attempting to lighten her mood a bit. When I get one I'll be sure to mention him. She replied coldly. Naruto felt as if blades of ice pierced his heart. So cold. He said with a sweat drop. He was a bit surprised when Misori leaned down and gently wrapped her arms around his head, her violet hair brushing against his face. Arigato, nii-san. Naruto rested his hand on her head, accepting her gratitude. Ever since the young girl found out there was a small piece of her clan still alive, she's been less made Naruto happy to see her come out of her shell more. He suddenly perked up and looked off into the distance. Haku. Misori looked in the same direction. Hakune is here. Yeah, but she shouldn't be, Naruto said while standing up and grabbing his swords. Let's go meet her. Misori stood as well and the two went off to meet up. Haku. I thought we were gonna meet them at the rebel base once we left from here. Misori said. Something must have happened. Stop here. He said. When they stopped, Haku came jumping from the treetops. She was a bit surprised to see them waiting for her, but from what she's seen of Naruto's sensory, already knew she was coming. She jumped down in front of them. Naruto-san, Misori-chan. We have a small problem. She said, panting heavily. She had to run all the way here because there were no boats available. It took. Get here. Too much time in her opinion. What happened? Naruto asked, immediately moving to support her after noticing how exhausted she was. Haku collapsed into his arms, barely conscious. Ms. Concern all over her face. Hakune, are you okay? Looks like chakra exhaustion. Misori, let's get her to the cabin. Wait. Haku's hand grabbed Naruto's arm, getting his attention. Mei Terumi plans on attacking Kiri in 2 days. She wouldn't listen to us. She reported weak. Naruto's eyes hardened. Understood. Thank you for bringing the message. Rest now, Haku. The girl nodded weakly and lost consciousness. Naruto picked he. Misery, let's get back to the cabin. We have to prepare ourselves.